Hi, my name is Frankie. Thank you for listening to my mom. I never listen.
Welcome to the podcast straight from Normal, Illinois at Illinois State. Elyce Knudsen, the four-time Division III All-American. I mean, we're in the midst of greatness here on the podcast. Elyce, thank you so much for joining us.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
So you have had an incredible journey. I've had a chance to see you play, so I know how hard and tough you are. I know what a good scorer you are. I also know what a great teammate you have been at Illinois State. Tell us a little bit about your path through D3 to become a D1 player.
Of course. Yeah. My journey's a little unusual. The first thing I start out with is never in a million years would I have thought I was going to be playing college basketball. And then especially at this level, always thought I was going to play softball. And that's kind of where my mind was at through the recruiting process out of high school. And luckily, Millikan was one of the only four-year institutions to reach out to me. And in my heart, I knew that's what I wanted to play was basketball. And Coach Leck gave me that opportunity. And kind of just my whole mindset those 4 years was kind of proving people wrong and, making sure that people knew that I belonged, playing the game of basketball, no matter what level that was at. And I was able to do that. I was 3-time CCIW Player of the Year, 4-time All-American, was the National Player of the Year. And Coach set out goals for me and I set out goals for myself. And luckily those came to fruition and gave me the opportunity to play here for Coach Gillespie. And I'm just grateful every day.
I'm amazed at your story because you've had such incredible success. But I also know along your journey, there have been people that have told you, you're not good enough, you're too small, you'll never be able to be this, you can't do that, you're not quick enough, your size, a lot of things that people might say that others would be discouraged by. And in some way, it motivated you to do more. Where does that come from?
I think it's just the way I've been raised. I owe my parents a lot of credit. They were just as hard on me, and they knew the goals that I had for myself, and they knew the only person that was going to be able to achieve that was myself. And if I wasn't going to push myself, nobody was going to. And I think, I grew up in a small town, kind of around blue collar, that kind of thing. And I think that also shapes you into being a great athlete. And again, I think I was just born with that chip on my shoulder. I played with girls who were always much better than me, always much stronger, much bigger. But I always in the back of my mind had that dream, like I can be in the position that you're going to be in. They had multiple Division I offers, and I'm standing there with maybe one JUCO offer, but that's where I wanted to be. And how could I get myself there? It was my mentality. I had to take a different mentality than those were taking. Nothing was going to be given to me, and I understood that.
When you're a younger player, the highs can be high and the lows can be low. It's hard to keep your focus and stay in the middle. How did you do that? Because you had to have been able to have the most incredible positive self-talk along the way, while other outside noise was saying something opposite.
Right. I think understanding that I was running my own race. And again, like you said, try not to get too high and not get sunk down in too much of the lows, and finding that balance, always trying to ground myself. And luckily I was surrounded by people who constantly reminded me of that and grounded me back to where I needed to be. And it's the same case now. I still talk to coaches who have coached me, and when I'm struggling, they bring me back, to my level space. And I think that's important, and people need to understand that is who you're surrounded with mean more than you could ever, understand. And I'm thankful to have those people in my corner who constantly ground me, and just understanding that it's all part of the process too. It's up and down, and that's what makes it, so much more sweeter.
We're talking with Elyce Knudsen from Illinois State, last year's Division III National Player of the Year, a 4-time All-American. Elyce, I'm curious about this, that competitive toughness and that competitive mindset, right? It has to be something that evolves over time. And for you, as you have achieved incredible success at the D3 level and you're having success at the D1 level, while you're receiving all those honors last year as a D3 Player of the Year, I'm just wondering, when you're accepting those awards, does your mind go to being grateful to all the people that have helped you? Because those people have definitely helped carve a path. But then there's a part or a sliver of what you experience that is those that said you couldn't. And you wish
Hmm.
sometimes you could go back to those people and say, you were wrong and
Hmm.
I was right. But you can't
Hmm.
really do that because a competitor wouldn't really do that. But
Hmm.
tell me how you keep that focus on trying to remember who you're grateful for and not stepping on those that, didn't believe at the beginning.
You're right. I mean, I think always for me, it's been like the focus on the positive, and I think there have been times where I haven't really gotten the chance to think back about how much people have impacted me and given me, the chance to receive awards. And I'll never forget when I received the National Player Trophy, and I messaged my teammates and I said, "This is just as much your award as it is mine, and I want you guys to understand that. You need to celebrate yourselves because without you guys, I'm not in this position. I'm not able to receive these kind of things." And I think that kind of gets lost sometimes, and I want to make sure that those people that mean the most to me understand that. As much as I do want to rub it in those who preyed on my downfall and in their face, but that's just not. I mean, that's not the kind of person I am. But
Right.
that always will forever sit in the back of my mind, and hopefully, just the humble athlete that I am, just being able to do this and portray my skill level, and that in itself is speaking volumes to those who didn't believe in me. And that's what I hope every day. And now I'm getting a chance to do this at Division 1, and it's kind of like a, hey, I can do it, and those who also are in my position, you can do it too.
I know someone who believes in you 100%, and that's Kristen Gillespie. I had heard many times about you before I actually met you or saw you play. And Coach Gillespie speaks so much about your skill set, but as much about your character, and I can see why. How do you parlay all of your previous experience at D3 into your experience at D1 leading this team?
Right. There's a lot that you kind of, yeah, there's a lot that you kind of, I guess, I don't know, take for granted. There's so many little things in Division 3 that you can tell your teammates now in Division 1 that have never experienced it, and their mind is blown. You're traveling same day, those kind of things. And I think more than anything, I'm so grateful to have spent my 4 years at the Division 3 level to now spend my grad year at Division 1. It just has shaped me into not only the athlete that I am, but the person. And that's what I wanted for Coach Gillespie, to be that leader and to come. The background I did come from is different than those who have experienced it. For 2, 3, 4, 5 years, the Division 1 level. And I just I think, Coach Let again at Millikan kind of gave me the upper hand in transitioning here to the Division 1 level, and I'm so grateful for her, just with how she wanted me to be as an athlete, but then also as a leader and a person,
Mhm.
and then just prepared me for, life outside of basketball. And I think that's super important, being a student athlete. So
I can see the appreciation all over your face, and I could hear it in your voice. So that is, as a coach, you'd want to hear that from your athletes. That's a reflection back on everything that you do, every detail that you game plan for, every practice that you go through. Tell us about this team a little bit. I had a chance to see you guys in the Gulf Coast Showcase. I watched you guys play for 3 days. You did a fantastic job, and playing in that event has definitely helped you in the Missouri Valley race. This is a
mhm.
league that is a two-bid league. Typically, more
Mhm.
than one team can get in from this league. When you look at the league, the balance of the league, the teams at the top, and how good they are, what have you learned? What have you liked? What have you enjoyed the most?
I've loved everything. How competitive this league is absolutely surreal. Like you just said, it's anybody's ball game. And now you're seeing, us and Drake tied for 5th place, and things will start to shake out a little bit different. But at this point, it's anybody's race, that's what I love. There's no, okay, you're the best team. We've got the bottom league. Anybody can win this league, and it's so competitive. And luckily our non-con schedule was something that, our coaching staff kind of, scheduled. So we were prepared for the MVC. And that's something that I also experienced in Division III. We wanted our non-con. We wanted to play, top 10 teams before we face teams in our conference. And that's what I've been grateful for, is just the competition of our schedule, and just the competition of this league. It's absolutely insane, and it's so much fun to be a part of. And why I decided to come here, because I knew the MVC was, it's some top mid-major talent, and it's so fun to be a part of and go against.
So what's next? Like you're going to finish playing pretty soon. You got a couple things up your sleeve, I'm sure. What are you thinking about?
I've thought about just about everything. I think, I've thought about, just being done with basketball and going to work. And I've also thought about staying around basketball. I don't think I can stray too far away from it. It's been a part of my life for so long. Thinking about staying here, and maybe being a part of the staff as a graduate assistant once I'm done with my last year of eligibility. I just love this coaching staff. I love the team and the girls that are staying. And if I can still be a part of that while I'm finishing up school next year, then that's what I want to do. I haven't I'm not sure about playing overseas yet. It's been in the discussion, but my grandpa wants to be a part of my career as much as possible, and that makes it really hard for him to travel. So just kind of considering everything, and but right now just trying to live in the moment and be the best I can for, coach and my teammates.
Tell me about your grandfather. He must have some sort of profound influence on you. How old is he? Where does he live? Tell us a little bit.
He lives right in Philo, not even maybe a block away from me. My hometown, has always lived there, and he's been to every game. And is just an old soul, loves any basketball, still goes to Milliken games when he can, goes to high school boys games, just loves the game. He'll come to our games and then rewatch them, and then tell me what good and bad, which is always, nice to hear. But I think he's just always known that this, like I said, this sport has been my love. And he would, even at his age, would play me one-on-one in the driveway and tell me I had to use my left hand on the left side with a left-hand layup. So he was the first person to teach me how to shoot a left-hand layup. But he's just tremendous. The love he has for me and the love he has for this game is just, I think we speak through to each other because we love basketball so much, and it's something that we bond over. And I'm just forever grateful for him and the way this sport has even brought us closer.
What's his name?
His name is Gary Franks.
And then how old is he?
He's, 77, I think.
All right.
Yeah.
So he's a major hooper then, huh?
He is. He loves it.
That's pretty cool. So are there times when you're on the floor playing that you're thinking about Gary?
Oh, yeah. Yep. And there's times he'll look at me, and he always usually wears a hat, and he'll tip his cap at me when he knows that, I'm either, overthinking. It's like the way he grounds me again, brings me back to, and he's the one person I'll look at in the stands, nobody else. And we've just always had that with one another, and it's so fun to have.
If we went to the game, how would we find your grandfather?
You would see him probably sitting in the middle section, not close to the floor, but maybe a couple rows up, so he has a good view. And he'll either he doesn't say much, but he'll shake his head and he'll clap, but that's about it.
He doesn't yell at the officials.
He's in high school. Yes, he got kicked out one game.
I knew we were getting somewhere with it. I knew we were going somewhere with it.
He tried so hard not to get kicked out, and he did my senior year, but he's refrained from that now because he learned his lesson. So he thinks it embarrasses me, which is partly true because everybody knows who he is. But yeah,
that is so cool that you have that special bond with your grandfather. I love it. That is just really special. What's your bond like with Coach Gillespie?
Gosh, Coach is amazing. I think I could talk about her and the person that she is, just relating to her person to person. It's not always coach to athlete, which is something that, a lot of people can take for granted. And she just understands us as people. And we've had a lot of good conversation. She knows when I'm in my head and when I put up a lot of pressure on myself, and we meet and talk about these things. And she always, again, reminds me, this is your own race. You're here for a reason. We recruited you to be you. And that's what we want you to be. And to have a person like that, to have your leader be that for you as a student athlete is something that is just absolutely, like, I'm just so grateful for it. And she's that person. And not only is she, but the rest of her staff. And the way she leads them too is something that I admire. And that if you want to be a coach one day, watching her do her job every day is something that is just, you're in awe of. And she takes it very seriously, which is something that, I do as a student athlete too. So the way we can relate, and I can watch her, be so perfectionist about everything is amazing and fun to play under. So.
And this is why we do this podcast, so that we can watch young women like you living out their dream, overcoming, excelling, thriving, enjoying, and just being a good teammate, because forevermore you're going to be on a team. And I hope I get to run into Grandpa Gary one day. Elyce Knudsen, thank you so much for being with us. We're so grateful. Thanks. All right, that's Elyce Knudsen from Illinois State.